One of my viewers sent me a link to a video called Insanity of Humanity. Left in the dark. This means the left part of our brain is in the dark. Because our brain is the mirror of our crater, you will see the same phenomenon in our crater. One part is frozen. Take a frontal view of our brain and mirror our crater. Remember, in my last video I was talking about how they are attacking our cerebellum, the reptilian brain. What if the cerebellum was responsible for the equilibrium in our brain? How would this work? For the musicians amongst us, you know, of course, the panning knob. Let's do some panning with our crater. Pan to the left, Solomon. Pan in the middle, equilibrium. Panning to the right, monosol. Let's do the same with our brain. That would give you, of course, dominant left brain or dominant right brain. Throughout my work, I have shown you how they are rebuilding our crater or our brain at several places throughout the whole world, creating distorted patterns. So I think that Giza also is a representation of our brain. Remember my video about Ground Zero, the rebuilding of Giza? Where I stated that Sun and Moon Pyramid had a control center? The question would be, of course, could a pyramidal shape be the control center of our brain? The answer would be, of course not. That would be the parasitical control center. But what would be the organic control center? That brought me back to the oculus. Remember, I said that the oculus was actually Anubis. And the oculus was actually the Sphinx. So the Sphinx would then be Anubis. Let's compare the oculus with the cerebellum. Let's take a detail. And again, it has been mutilated. And then suddenly I remembered an image of Anubis with a weighing scale. That seemed to confirm that the cerebellum is Anubis, and that the cerebellum is responsible for the balance between the two brain halves. Anubis is weighing the heart with a feather. That means that even a feather would bring the heart out of balance. The heart, of course, stands for the epep energy. Or could it be that the feather is something else? compare the cerebellum with the Sphinx? Let's take our brain, put in the Sphinx, the cerebellum, Sun and Moon pyramid. But what about this Mancora pyramid, of which I thought it was the control center? Well, let's take our crater, put in the Sphinx, Moon pyramid, Sun pyramid, and let's add the Mancora pyramid. That brings us to that little crater next to ours. Well, you know that our crater is reflected in the firmament as Sirius. Then this little crater would be Sirius B. Reflected in the firmament, you see Sirius B turning around Sirius A. And would there be a Sirius C? Probably one of those two. Let's presume our crater is in perfect harmony. But a force field in a nearby crater is disturbing the cerebellum, the equilibrium of our brain. Could this be the home of the parasite? Is it this they are telling us in a space odyssey? Well, I hope I'm wrong. So the Mancora pyramid is Sirius B. Do we have some clues of Walt Hitler and the ghetto police? Let's zoom in on Disneyland Anaheim. Magic Way. There seems to be some kind of road. What about Apple? Seems like another miniature of our crater. In the middle we have Emerald City. Sirius B. Well, Steve Jobs was probably part of the beehive. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. You have to admit it, this would be the perfect hiding place. While everybody is watching the sky and looking for aliens, they are living in the crater next door. Somebody is watching you.
This tribe believes all life comes from a distant dark star, invisible to the naked eye. Recently, modern science was able to find this star and confirm its existence. Now we must ask, how did a primitive people, lacking instruments of any kind, discover a dark star hidden deep in space? The hum of the bull roar is believed to be the voice of the sacred star. During the ceremony, the full spectrum of Dogon knowledge is revealed and passes from generation to generation. A circle within a circle depicts Saturn and its rings, a large circle and 4 satellites, the planet Jupiter and its moons. Most remarkable is this symbol. It represents the orbit of the Dogon star, a phenomenon deep in stellar space. These symbols and the knowledge they hold are the legacy of the mysterious Numos, the messengers from the dark star. Many cultures claim their knowledge was given them by godlike beings descended from the heavens. But the Dogons insist their gods descended from one star in particular, which they're able to identify and describe in detail. Does other evidence exist of this encounter between gods and men? For Western science to determine the orbit of the Dogon star required calculations based on decades of astronomical observations. Minute shifts in the position of the giant Sirius led astronomers to suspect the gravitational influence of an unseen companion. When computer studies of the data were complete, they verified that a small star orbited Sirius every 60 years, exactly as the Dogon claimed. Each hopes that he will be the one to wear the Grand Mask. The Grand Mask, the symbol of the sacred star, turning in endless orbit around the giant Sirius.
How they managed to calculate this, we don't know. It is a mystery that we have been unable to solve and up to now, and that the Dogon are not going to tell us.
Are not going to tell. And that is the only reason why the Dogon have not been exterminated by the ghetto police. An interesting question would be, are the gods another race, or are they a split-off society?
Japan that Captain Nemo had discovered what mankind has always thought, the veritable dynamic power of the universe. This secret alone gave him mastery of the sea. I can hardly believe how one could conceive and build such a plan, and in a single stroke harness power beyond the wildest dreams of science. Why, such a secret could revolutionize the world, or destroy it. Crew of the Nautilus, they're dedicated men with a plan for living, but also a plan for dying. When he seized one of their ships and fled beyond Manx, a place not be simply as volcano. Okay, sounds remote. Remote and useful. There that we built the Nautilus.